Okay, good morning, dear colleagues. My presentation is somewhat related with the infrastructure in the Parliament, and it's divided in two parts. The first part, I try to talk about infrastructure management in a global sense. In the second part, I'll go through the reality of the Portuguese Parliament and how we are dealing with infrastructure management. And in the third part, I made a conclusion. Well, when we talk about infrastructure, of course, all IT people, all managers, all MPs have a very clear idea about what infrastructure is. Although not everyone knows or relates global goals of the organizations with their infrastructure. Most of the times, our biggest problem is that our infrastructure do not fit our goals, what we want to achieve. We don't have structure to support what we want to achieve. I will talk on interface of infrastructure management. I'll also talk about how business and infrastructure technology are related, main process in the development of ICT infrastructure in Parliament, and the business context, how we develop ICT infrastructure in the business context. The case of the Portuguese Parliament, I'll bring to you here. It's a real case. It's a problem we are facing, and I'd like to share this problem with you, probably to collect some good practices or maybe some good ideas on how to tear up and tailor on what is missing in our infrastructure that in a good sense, sometimes we get problem in achieving our goals with our actual infrastructure. In the Portuguese Parliament, we do have ICT for about 20 years, working normally with all staff with ICT department and so on. And we have been developing a lot of new solutions, but our base infrastructure has not been following with the European Parliament's ICT group, as well as with the African Portuguese-speaking countries that in the Secretary General Association for African-speaking countries, where I tried to make a bridge between the Africans and the Europeans in order to exchange and promote exchange of technology and knowledge between these two communities. And then I make a conclusion. Starting by the interface of ICT infrastructure, what I'm trying to show here is not new for none of us, because we all know in a very clear way what is our business. Of course, our business will relate with customers, users, and services. Well, who are our customers? Normally I say that we have two types of customers. We have a VIP customer that are our MPs, and then we have classic customers who are all the users in the Parliament. Our business is to provide ICT solutions to achieve the Parliament's goals. And what are the Parliament's goals? In Portugal, we always say that we try to use ICT to take Parliament to the people and to bring people to the Parliament. You ask me, but do you succeed? Yes, most of the time we are using the ICT in a good way, and we have been having good results of our work. When we talk about services management, we know that in the infrastructure it's fundamental to have service delivery and services support for the Parliament. And we also have application. No ICT infrastructure without application management. Even if you have the very, very light structure, we need to have application over the structure in order to do our job in a good way. When we talk about management of infrastructure, we should be aware of 4 very basic processes. Designing and planning, which most of the time is missing in our work. Normally, we don't design and plan our infrastructure in a good way. We try to do ad hoc situation, ad hoc solutions, and sometimes we don't succeed. Deployment, when we have design and planning, we should follow up with the deployment as well as operation to maintain what we have deployed, and a technical support to sustain what we have done. We talk about partners because no infrastructure, no business will succeed without partners. Indeed, we need to have good partners that will follow up with us in our development, in the development of our infrastructure. And of course, technology is always aware, because infrastructures, and most of the time, means be with technology. The business technology in the ICT fields, this slide tries to relate all our concern when we're talking about business and technology. We need planning to implement service management. We need business perspectives. If I don't know what my Secretary General or what my chairman is expecting to do the next year, probably I will not design my ICT infrastructure in the best way to fit to the Parliament's goals. We need security. We always talk about security. And most of the times, what we call as old and reliable, most of the times means secure, but not, in my point of view, not in a good sense of security. When I need to have enough security, but not to constrain me, not to stop my development. Security means it has to be as flexible as possible in order not to have a barrier with the security. The main process in the development of ICT infrastructure in Parliament, as I've said, it's organized in 4 processes. The first one is designing and planning. That means providing overall guideline from development of installation. When we need to do something next year, if you can plan it this year, of course, we will do it in a better way. And my experience in the relation with many parliaments is that not everything has been well planned or on the time being planned. And in the second point, deployment. See, as soon as we have planning, we need to deploy what we have planned in order to see whether we are following in a very fit way what we've planned and what we are doing. And the third is operations. The operation is fundamental to ensure and enable the maintenance of the solution. Whenever we have good solutions, if we don't have good operation, the solution will start getting down and will not achieve the planned situation. And technical support, in good sense also, is a technical knowledge, development and knowledge to evaluate and support all the 3 processes. All ICT processes, all infrastructures need to have very good technical support. The business context tries to show you how we should adapt our technology to the evolution of our ICT. When we have, you see, in this slide, we can see at the beginning, at the 1970s, in 1970s, the system management was basically composed by mainframes and structures in one block system. Then, in the 80s, network management has come on with the remote processing, with the PCs, with the decentralization, okay? And at 1990s, the service management has distributed and managed the distribution of services. The internet has brought us a very good knowledge about how to distribute services, how to distribute management, and that's what we were concerned. In this century, we are much more concerned with the enterprise-wide services management. You see, we have no limit of our infrastructure. We can have infrastructure wherever we are, whatever it is, and whatever we want to do, we have to be clear that the infrastructure will be, of course, clear and provided where even we have some parliaments that are in Africa with their websites in Europe or in South America and so on. So the services and enterprise-wide services management is completely well spread. The evolution of infrastructure ICT in Portugal Parliament in the last 20 years can be analyzed in this slide. In this slide, I try to bring the most relevant areas that we have been dealing with: the client operating system, the networks infrastructure, the server system operating, the main application, and the last one, which was internet. Of course, in 1989, we had no internet because even the internet was not being used yet. In 1994, in this gap of each 5 years, we did so. We jumped from a proprietary operating system for the client. We jumped to wide operating system, starting using mail. The internet has left from coaxial cable to Ethernet, TCP, IP 10 to 1000. In the server, we started developing Intranet and Internet solution. In 1999, we did another jump. We have kept our clients in Windows, of course. The network has not much change, but on the back office, we changed a lot. The main application have jumped from Oracle, from private platform to Oracle and the SQL Server, as well as at the internet, at the intranet. We started using SharePoint to manage the content and in our intranet. In 2004, we did another jump, say, in the infrastructure relating with network. We started developing structures based on 1 gigabit network, and as well as the internet and internet solution, we also had new development. In 2008, we have done so many things new, let's say, and on the way of providing structure for the outside clients of our parliament services. We're talking about internet services. We started to have MOS 207 Microsoft SharePoint Office for the management, the content in the internet web page. When you talk about all this development, almost maintaining the same structures, of course something will not be working good. Let me show you our base structure. Our base structures is more or less concerned in 6 Active Directories with very independent structure from each other. Each political party, talking about the 5 biggest ones, have independent VLAN, independent Active Directory, organization unity, domain server, mail server, web mail, address book. All management are independent, all security policy is independent, as well as the only protocols allowed in the communication are HTTP and SMTP for the mail. This means that we are in the same organization, but very close one each other. In our parliament, we do not have one unique address book for all users. Of course, what constraints does this bring? Very expensive infrastructure, in fact, too many servers, really, high licensing cost, very difficult to manage because you have everything multiplied by 6, and as well as complicated authentication system. When we start developing, transversal, horizontal application for all organizations, all users from different political parties, as they are coming from different organization unity, different Active Directory, they need to have more than one authentication system. They need to have more than one password and username and so on. So this is completely crazy, and this is our reality. When we started developing solution, and this slide will show you in a better way what I was trying to explain. We have, this is in Portuguese, but you can understand that we have separated VLAN, one from each political party and one for the services in the global. And then we have a DMZ, external DMZ area with the structure that will provide all for them. The new goals over old ICT infrastructure. We have been developing new solutions, and of course, our infrastructure is, tying our movements in order not to let us go further. We have paperless processes developed, but with a lot of authentication systems problems and with a lot of problems related with security and so on. Mobility solutions and transparency. At the paperless processes, we have developed digital signature for infrastructure, for legislative and administrative process. Paperless procedure, we have a complete paperless procedure all going on, and as well as paperless inquiries and questions in the government, questions to the government, and with a lot of problems in the moving all this. And the mobility, as well as we have distributed laptops for all MPs, smartphones also for all MPs, wireless networking available in all meeting rooms, and VPN solution for remote access wherever they are in Portugal or outside Portugal. We got a lot of problem with this very, very old infrastructure. Concerning transparency tools, we also have problems with when we developed parliamentary weblog for all MPs. All Portuguese MPs can develop by our template his own weblog to interact with the citizen. Online discussion forum between MPs and citizens is available on the internet. Public discussion on the most important bills also it's available now, as well as electronic requests and petition via internet. All this structure will not sustain in an old but reliable infrastructure. What we are proposing now to our administration is somewhat, instead of having 6 Active Directories, we need just 1 Active Directory. We need a physical structure, common physical structure, shared services with virtual infrastructure, as well as servers, shared network. We, instead of organizing by political groups, we will organize by type of services and structures to provide. What we need, the main feature of the new structure is based on only 1 VLAN, 1 Active Directory, 1 organization unity, 1 domain server, and so on and so forth. And our main advantage in this is that we are going to implement a single sign-on authentication system, not too many servers, low license cost. The license cost is getting down and so on. With this, and with this new structure, you see in the right side of this slide, we see the 6 structure for the political parties that will now going to be reorganized. And the conclusion of this is that ICT infrastructure should always be adjusted to the organization's goals. And we realize that our infrastructure at this moment is not adjusted to our goal. Most ICT problems in parliaments are related with infrastructure. That's true. Most of the times, we misunderstand infrastructure, relating infrastructure only with the basic infrastructure, when you call network and servers and so on. Infrastructure is much more than that. all the organization and the ICT is infrastructure-based related. Old and reliable infrastructure are often a barrier for ICT development. It can be old, reliable, but it needs to be it needs to be flexible in order to, be adjusted to our objectives. ICT infrastructure should have enough flexibility in order to adapt to the organization's goals. And the last one, the ICT infrastructure should always be aligned with the organization goal. And time is over. Thank you very much for your attention.